Hello friends, how's it going? I have a weird situation going on. Every vlog starts with, this is not a normal vlog. We have a rogue Pax in the house and we have a Kate on the Zooms. The Zooms. Anyway, so I am posturing currently and threatening to make a cap, an 18th century cap, so that I can essentially not have to do my hair when I make 18th century costumes and I want to wear them out, because the last time, which was last weekend, that I had to wear an 18th century gown, I completely forgot that I even owned hair and had to figure something out like on the fly. And let me just tell you, I am not a good person at being a girl. Like I suck at it and it's fine. I've never been interested in it, but it means I don't know how to do my own hair. so I'm making a light and gauzy band-aid to put on that problem. And so I am currently trying to make this cap out of the 18th century guide by American Duchess. And I have two experts with me to they're both laughing, to possibly like guide me on the start. I'm kind of concerned about this because I'm starting right now, but like there's going to be all sorts of actual work that's going to happen, and they won't be here to hold my hand, but we're going to see. I have Zoom and I can call them whenever I want, and I know who's up late and who's not, and this is fantastic. So I'm first, before I make the gauzy band-aid, I'm going to cut a mock-up of at least parts of it so that we can make sure it's big enough for my head, because apparently the head in this book is a bit smaller than my own noggin and hair. The noggin / hair combo is a bit much. So we are doing a sample, as you should if you're a responsible sewer. So I will let you know about progress on that. Just for transparency's sake, when I say I'm gonna make a mock-up of this, what I actually meant was that Pax is gonna make a mock-up for me. Things just started disappearing out of my hands and moving this way.
Yeah, I'm a busybody.
I think they needed something to do, so that happened over there. So yeah, we're gonna try this on in a minute and see how it goes. It looks like a collage bonnet though. Like, it's massive, so I think we'll see how big my hair is. Should I make a bun so that we can try it with the bun on it? All right. Okay, so this is my hedgehog from Jenny LaFleur. She's not making very many of these anymore, so if you want one, you need to go to her website and get it. It's very awesome because you just put it in, and then normally I would curl the fronts of my own hair and then just work them in so it would look nice. We just need to know for the hat. So Pax here made a hat for me, essentially. We tried it on and it was like
ridiculous.
Basically like Super Mario Brothers level fluffy.
Are you ready?
Yeah. So we're trying on, like this thing got pinned here. So to find out whether or not we can take some of it out, the fluff out. So we're finding out if this fits better now. So that is the current situation. And this is why you do mock-ups. And if you are really lucky, you have friends who show up and just do your mock-ups for you.
Kate, can you see if that's the right place on her head?
Can you turn slightly? Yeah, that's the right spot.
Okay. I mean, ignore how ugly this is, but that's kind of a nice amount of fullness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's obviously going to look a lot different in organza.
Mm-hmm.
Except we're not making it in organza, we're making it in Burnley and Turbridge, like filmy striped stuff.
Okay, well that's also good.
Okay.
And yeah, with a ruffle, that'll frame your face really nicely.
Okay.
I think so. I don't think it'll stand up quite so tall once there's not like a random pleat in it.
Yeah.
And the pleat is inside, making it stick up. Yeah.
So I think that's probably good. All right, so we need to take 2 inches out of what I made and curve it more severely here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I understand. Great. Okay, so we have it all cut out, and I have been instructed to baste the both edges of this situation, which is the band. And I have an amazing assistant who is basting the, what is this thing called? A caul?
Yeah.
Caul. Oh.
Now I'm hemming it.
Now hemming is happening. Hemming and hawing is happening.
Haw, haw, haw.
which is like, you guys know me and how I sew, so this is like cutting down like 3 weeks of production time for me. So so that is what's going on. Oh yeah, do you want to show your thing, your picture?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I still have it up.
Yeah.
Yes. So I drove down the Oregon coast and I saw shifts at all of the state parks.
That's so funny.
They were not shifts. Historical trick of not having knots where I don't want them.
Yes.
There, I did it. Did you see it?
No. Oh, you went through.
I made a half hitch. So I used a double thread, but I left the loop at that end and I did a half hitch. So I don't have a knot because I don't like extra knots where
they're not supposed to be. Oh, this is like, I'm not going to focus. Okay, guys. Box is making me eyelets. Do I need one eyelet or two?
Just one.
Just one. Okay. They also went through and like hemmed a bunch of this caul thing for me. So like, when I am all proud of myself in 6 weeks when I finish this, just know that like 2/3 of it was done today by another person.
I did not do 2/3 of it.
Wow. When I do that, it does not look like that.
I think you could totally make eyelets like this, Noelle.
Did you do blanket stitch or just regular stitch?
I'm just
Are you a two
stitching it.
Are you a 2 rounder or 1 rounder?
You're asking me questions that are not simple answers because...
And I want your very complex answer.
Okay.
Have I ever asked you a question that was a simple question in the entirety of our relationship?
No.
Yeah, okay.
So if I am doing a column of eyelets, like on stays or a lacing strip or something, then I will do 1.5 times around.
1.5?
Because that means I can start at the top, I go halfway around with undense stitches, then I go back up with dense stitches, and then I go back down to fill in the undense side, and then I go down to the next one.
Oh, okay.
Because that's how my nerdy little geometry brain likes to do this stuff.
So what about this one?
I am just going around with dense enough stitches because there's no reason to be able to move on.
So I use blanket stitches and I go 2 times around, and I go around once in a 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then I go around again in 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11.
That's kind of how I do the one side of my eyelets in rows.
I think that, and I'm not, she's going to watch this and yell at me if I'm wrong, but she will never yell at me. She's the nicest person. But I think that's kind of how Constance taught us to do it.
Okay.
To go around twice.
Yeah. And I can also say, like, this is not going to have very much wear and tear. So I do not think density is terrifically important at this point.
For the record, we are using silk thread, though.
Yes.
It is, to also be fair, Gutermann silk, which is arguably the shittiest of all silk.
And it's available, which makes it
the best.
Awesome.
Yep. The reason that it's shitty, for those of you who are going to ask me that question, I can just predict my comments, is that this Gutermann silk is made with shorter fibers that are sort of like cast-offs from other things that silk was made with, and they use the short fibers to make these threads instead of really long tensile strength long fibers, like I think Tire, and there's a couple other brands that have pretty long fibers in their silk, but also those are really expensive and you have to like order them from Japan or beg Christine to order you a bunch from Japan when she does her mass orders. So
there you go, a perfectly serviceable eyelet.
Yes, thank you so much.
Without knots or random loose ends.
So beautiful. Hello. It has been quite a few days, actually. I have been taking care of other chores, so it is now time to work on this cap a little bit more. I have done a few things in the meantime, but I thought I should get going on that and just get it done instead of like procrastinating it forever, which is something I like to do. So I'm trying to spend a little bit of time each day doing it so that it will eventually get done. I miss PAX already. Yeah. Anyway, I have an announcement for you guys for people in the audience that may be non-binary or trans specifically, or anyone who gets triggered by discussions of anything involving she who must not be named, or, you know, the universe that she created. I'm of course speaking of Harry Potter. I know that I had a 20 questions in which we discussed it quite a bit. I have made a bunch of statements about how I feel about it on this channel, so those still stand. I still tithe if I do anything accidentally to contribute to her, which means I take twice as much money as I spent on the thing, not even like her cut of the thing, but like as much as I spent on it, and I send it to the Trevor Project, because there are some things that I do that like aren't about her or whatever that do, you know, like if I go to Universal Studios, she gets part of that gate whether or not I even go into that area. I'm totally gonna go into that area, but like even if I wasn't, I would still be contributing to her. So I do that sort of thing. I do not agree with her turfy beliefs in any way. I don't stand for that crap. Stuff like that. I just want to make sure that that's very clear. I don't believe in anything she believes in with regard to that, for sure. But I have spent 24 years of my life making that a happy place for me, and that's kind of a problem. I have a giant Hogwarts tattoo, so it's hard to just back right out of that, and I'm sure you can understand that, and if you can't, then this might be the parting of the ways for us. But for those of you who can, I have a potential solution that was proposed to me by someone in my Instagram DMs, which I think is a good idea. I normally don't, well, I try not to trigger people in any way if I can help it. You know, you just do sometimes. And normally I'm like, I cannot be held responsible for every single person's individual triggers. This one is different because it's such a disgusting thing and it's such a big deal. And it's a big part of my life in a lot of ways. So anyway, I want to let you know that if I am going to discuss her or the worlds that she creates in any way, even if I'm going to discuss them in a negative light, I'm going to put a warning down in my description. So those of you who feel strongly about that can absolutely go down to my description before you watch my videos and have a look and see if there's something in there that you want to skip. I'm going to try to give you time signatures so that you can skip over that if you want to. If you don't want to watch the video, I completely understand. It happens. There are things in this room that have to do with that world that you will see, and I'm really sorry that it causes you harm. So I wanted to let you know that I, you know, have heard from a person who gave me an idea to let you at least know what's going on. So I thought I would do that so that you can have a warning and at least know what's coming. And I think that's kind of fair. Anyway, now that that's been said, let's have a look at where we're at and what I'm going to be doing going forward. Okay, this giant blob is the call. It has been mostly hemmed by PAX because they are awesome, and I hemmed the last like half of the second turn, so like I did a quarter of this. They also made me the most beautiful eyelet, which is previous in this. I did do a double fold hem on this band here, which is cool and done, and then these two pieces need to be rolled hemmed, and I've never rolled hemmed anything in my life, so I am about to go ahead and learn how to do that and give it a little practice. I've done it on some linen before, like a week ago. So this is going to be the first go at that. So I'm going to give this a go to try to get all of this hemmed, and then they all just get put together, and then we magically have a cap. Shall we have some chats while I do this? I know a lot of you would really like to be looking at what I'm doing instead of my face looking down as I'm like, ooh, like that. So I would say, one, not on my first go. I'll show you what happened when it's over, but like... And the second thing is, the last time I showed what like me hand stitching was a particularly like naughty experience. It's not normally like that. I don't know what was happening. Anyway, I did ask people to like just forgive my sewing, and I was showing it to you because you guys all ask for it, but like I don't really feel comfortable with it, and please just like move on. But there were a number of people who could not move on, and they decided to like give helpful advice in the comment section. And you know, I have tough skin, so I can kind of handle that, but I don't like that as a practice. Like, I don't find being helpful when you're specifically asked to like not be. That's not cool. I just like really, I did not want criticism. I was already frustrated with what was going on. Like, I don't need that. I don't. So, for those of you who, most of you don't seem to care whether or not I show me sewing or not, because you're working on your own things while we sit here and chat. So that's cool with me. Pax is currently texting me right now about the grabby glue that they have for when they are rolling hems. They have this wonderful, like beeswaxy, but like softer, so you could get more on your fingers. I'm sitting here rubbing a hunk of beeswax, which happens to look like a Haunted Mansion bat. Hi, I'm gonna use a makeup vlogger technique. This is my Haunted Mansion bat thing. I was actually thinking about sending these out to Patreon members. If Patreon people, if you want me to send you Haunted Mansion bats or other assorted wax for hand sewing, let me know that that's something you're interested in, maybe through Patreon, and I will consider doing that. I was thinking about maybe at Christmas time or something sending out little Patreon gifts. I don't know, maybe there's a lot of them is the problem. So like that's a lot of people, but I'm not really opposed to it. I'm just like that'd be a lot of postage, but I also think that's kind of fun. Like give back to your Patreon a little bit. Oh, I have to. Ooh, my friend gave me a whole bunch of 18th century pockets, and I was sending those out to my Patreon people. I need to do that this weekend. Okay, cool. So that's what's going on here. Let me pause and look at this recipe, and then I'll just relay it to you. Okay, it's 1 part oil type thing, 4 parts of beeswax. Coconut oil would probably be fine, or baby bee, which is like castor seed and more beeswax in it, so some sort of oil like that. So I think that's awesome, and I'm gonna make some because I would rather do that than just like grind my hand on this thing. Apparently it's the same proportions as the hard pomatum recipe from the American Duchess beauty book, which I do have. So great. Okay, so what's been going on here? Well, obviously Pax was here, so I had a house guest, and that was very cool. We went out for bougie tea, which is just going out to tea, but my tea house that I go to, I mean, as some of you may or may not know, is fairly bougie. Like it's, oh, someone asked what bougie was in my comments one time. It just means like, it's actually bourgeoisie, shortened, but really it means when middle class people do rich people things. So yeah, it's just, you know, it just means of a high quality, essentially. Like I call first class on the airplane bougie class. This is just me making up stuff. This is not a cultural phenomenon of people calling it this. This is just what I do. I also make up like words in my house for stuff all the time. Like what? I don't know if I've gone over this online ever, but I call the bedroom the titaria. And it's usually like the end of a long trail of changing words. So like when you go to sleep, then you go to sleepy tea, then you go to sleepy tita, and then you just go to tita. And where do you tita? You tita in the titaria. So that's why I call it the titaria. And my husband is awesome because he just immediately changes to these words, and like that's what it's called forever. So the other day I was trying to change the battery in the smoke alarm, and I was like, the sky beeper isn't working, and he just like knew what that was and immediately started calling it the sky beeper. So that is essentially why I married this particular human. Because I was like, oh, you get me, so that's great. So what I'm doing, I will describe it to you since I will not show it to you right now, is I'm making a little bit of a roll going for like that much, so like inch or two ahead, just to like start the roll going. And sometimes I go down a ways and just like, sometimes I do this. This is the first time I've done this, so when I say sometimes I do this, I mean as in the last 20 minutes. Just to get the like curl started. And then I sit here for the like actual inch long section that I'm actually doing, and I just sort of like rock it back and forth until it gets fairly tight, and then I stitch it down. And it's, I don't know, like a 1/16 of an inch. It's pretty small. It's not the smallest rolled hem I've ever seen, but it's also not the worst rolled hem I've ever seen, so I'm pretty impressed with it so far. I will for sure show it to you when I'm done here. Okay, so what's been going on around here? Not much actually. I cannot account for my whereabouts for the last like week. I've been binging Downton Abbey again, which I watched once like while it came out originally, but I haven't ever rewatched it, so I'm rewatching it kind of like intensely. And it's great. It's nice when like, I don't know how to put this. Like there are people on the show that I find vile, but for the most part, I think almost everybody on the show is like got a good heart, question mark. Even the people who are kind of gross at the beginning sort of convert to like not being gross by the end, which is kind of what I need in television right now. I'm very excited because What We Do in the Shadows season 3 comes out this week, and that is one of my favorite shows. For people who don't know what it is, I don't know, there's a comparison, but you'd have to know what this other show is. But for those of you who have seen Arrested Development, it's like Arrested Development, but with vampires. So it's a documentary about vampires and their, what are those guys called? Familiars. But the vampires are really like goofy. Like they're trying to look cool, but they're not. Like they're not cool at all. So, and they do like talk to the camera and stuff, so there's like breaking of the fourth wall in it. It's very funny. It was originally a movie by Taika Waititi, and the show is produced by him. And I love Taika. I find him very, very amusing. So, I like the show a lot, and it's been a while, so I get, honestly, most of my good TV shows I watch because of Abby. I've also been obsessed with Ted Lasso. I don't know how many of you have Apple Plus TV or whatever that thing's called, but if you do have it, there's a show called Ted Lasso. And I love Ted Lasso so much. I love everyone on that show. I find that show super wholesome. And that one is about a football coach from like America. It's about a football coach and his assistant coach from America who coached football, and he's like going through hard times with his wife. And there's another woman in Britain who has a football team, which is actually a soccer team, but football everywhere else but America. So for all of you who are watching this from England, your football, not our football. And she gets a divorce from this guy who's played by Anthony Stewart Head, who I love Anthony Stewart Head because he was Giles on Buffy, and I came of age to Buffy, so I'm like, Anthony Stewart Head. Anyway, he's a jerk on this show, but he loses the team ownership to his wife in their divorce, and she basically wants to make the team just die because she knows that it's his like life, that team is. So her thing is to go get this American football coach to come coach her football team, because obviously he doesn't even really know the rules of the game when he gets there. So he comes to coach the footballers in England, which as you can imagine, the show centers around like it going better in a lot of ways than you would hope, or that you would think that would happen. You would hope that it would happen in the way it does. So, but they do have some tremendous setbacks that happen because, you know, Ted Lasso is a very, like, wholesome dude. I don't know how to describe him. I kind of want to describe him like Ned Flanders, but he's not Ned Flanders. He's so much better than Ned Flanders, from The Simpsons, for people who watch The Simpsons. He just looks like Ned Flanders, but he doesn't act like Ned Flanders, but he's super wholesome, and I love him. And he's got this assistant coach who they just call Coach Beard because he's got a big beard. And I adore Coach Beard. Coach Beard is the best. They have all this cast of characters is just very funny. And there are players from all over the world. There's like a very earnest guy from Lagos. And he, like, the one guy is like, what do you think of when you think of Christmas? And he's like, oh, colonization. And they're like, yeah. He's a very, like, pure guy. He's so happy and helpful and like loving, but he just says exactly what he's thinking, and you're like, yeah. Anyway, can't recommend that show highly enough. I think it's really great. It makes me smile every time. It's on Fridays. It's one of the very few shows that I'm watching, like, serially. Normally I wait and I binge a show because I don't have that kind of patience. So this one I'm like, I need to watch it every Friday because I need a dose of Ted Lasso. Crazily, I found out about it. Well, I mean, I knew it existed, but I was like, looks like football. I became aware of it because I was at Abby's house and the Christmas episode came out in August. I don't understand. Anyway, they're probably like, the world needs a Christmas episode right now. So that household that I was in wanted to watch it, and I was like, well, I could go in my bedroom or I could sit around and watch it with them and find out what the show is about. And I'm like, do I need to know anything about the show in order to watch this? They're like, no. So I watched it. I did not need to know anything about the show to watch that, and it was great. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. So I came home and I was like, we have to watch this show right now. So Chris and I have been watching it. We binged through the first, there's 1.5 seasons out right now. So it is an obsession. We're also watching Monsters at Work, which is a Monsters, Inc. television show that's on Disney+. Love it. Mike and Sully are in it, but there's also, like, new monsters, which I find great. What else were we watching? We were watching something else that came up. Oh, we're watching What If, which is a Marvel show on Disney+, which is taking the Marvel characters. It's all animated, but they actually are voiced most of the time by the actors themselves. So that's really interesting. And there is one with Chadwick Boseman in it that made me, like, tear up when I heard his voice, because I'm like, oh, it's Chadwick. But, like, the last one that I just watched was Doctor Strange, and it was voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch, and, like, all the people actually voice their own characters, which I think is really, not all of them, but most of them do. Like, I don't think Robert Downey Jr. does his own Iron Man, but anyway, it's like alternate timeline things happen, so I've been enjoying that show. What else? Thank you guys for your podcast suggestions. I really appreciate that. Always feel free, if you have a great podcast that you find, to let me know about it. I'm interested in history podcasts and, like, pop culture kind of podcasts. Although I know most of the, like, you know, heavy hitters, like Two History Chicks and Stuff You Missed in History Class, and, you know, all the ones that, like, everybody knows about, I know about those. But, like, if you get a new sort of one that isn't well known, please do let me know. I'm always interested in, I'm always interested in like finding a new one to listen to. I have to vibe with the people is a big thing. It's like my audiobook thing. Like, if I don't like the reader, I'm out. So it's weird how much you bond to the people. I listened to You're Dead to Me, which is a history podcast, and let me just look, because that would be the best way to tell you. The rest is history. For those of you who are a little bit, like, I'm tolerant to raunchy discussions. The Secret's Out is actually a great one. That's by Alfie Days, and he's like an OG YouTuber. That podcast is very funny. It's like people write their secrets down, and then a group of people read the secret, and then they discuss. I listen to David Tennant does a podcast with. I listen to Lore, Myths and Legends, Noble Blood, She Done It, the Disney History Institute, and Great Detectives currently. And there was a bunch that were recommended to me, and I put those in a saved folder, and I've been listening to those casually as I, you know, have a minute to listen to something new. So those have been super helpful. The weirdest place I listen to podcasts is in my shower. I got a shower speaker, which I didn't know was something I needed in my life, but it turns out I do. So now when I take a shower, I'm usually listening to a podcast, which is very funny because sometimes you're like, wait, what? And you like miss a thing, but you can't go back, so you just gotta like roll with it. But I very much enjoy having... Does anyone else feel like the showers are super boring? Like I'm always like, oh, this takes so long. I don't even take very long showers. I just have like, you know, I have a lot of hair, so I gotta wash that, and you know, you gotta wash yourself and do all those things, and I'm not a 5-minute shower. I'm a like 10 to 15 minute shower, although because I live in California, I turn the water off when I'm sudsing my hair. I also brush my teeth in the shower. So I like turn the shower off when I'm washing my face, when I'm washing my hair, when I brush my teeth, like whatever. So I feel like I'm in there a long time, but I'm not using up a ton of water. But it's nice to have just a little entertainment going on while that's all going down, I found out. So pro tip from me to you, if you're bored in your shower, you can in fact just listen to a podcast while you're in there. I could have been like less bougie and just listen to it on my phone, but the speaker is awesome. Although I did find out that if you push a specific button on the speaker, it will call the last person that dialed in or you called, or like the most recent phone person will get a call. And I know this because I pushed the button by accident and I was like, what's going on? And like the person on the other end was like, hello? And I was like, I'm in the shower. I'm sorry, I screwed up. So anyway, that was fun. So risks of that. So if you do get a shower speaker, if you do get one of those, make sure you understand the buttons that are involved in the transactional stuff that goes down with that speaker. Because you will have all kinds of... I have like every embarrassing weird thing that could possibly happen to me, just so you guys know. Like I have stories that would just... Most of them are very personal, very private things, but like, trust me, I will just say the words. Icy Hot comes in a tube that looks exactly like something else. Think about that for a little bit. I'm massaging the bat right now. Oh, it's getting so tight. Yeah, this is going to be a wonky rolled hem because it's not consistent, but I don't care because I'm learning. Also, this is the side that attaches to the cap, so no one's ever going to see this side. And I would rather work this out on this side than on the edge that will be seen, but I'm sure that one's going to be wonky too. I'm okay with beginner's wonk. Anyway, have you guys done anything or gone out or been watching anything that's awesome? Reading anything that's cool? I haven't been reading very much, but I am very interested suddenly in reading the Wheel of Time series because I think they're like Amazon maybe is making it into a TV show, which looks pretty cool. Maybe I won't, maybe I'll just watch it. Maybe that's also fine as a thing that I can do. So maybe that's what will happen, but you know, when something like that comes out, you wanna read it. Although I read Shadow and Bone because that show was coming out and I have regret about reading that book. The show is way better, and I mean it is vaguely similar, but you could get by with just watching the show. So anyway, but people do say the Wheel of Time series is like one of the better book series of all time, so I think that might be a thing I listen to. I started the sample and I was like, oh, I hate this reader. So I might give, also one book is like, the first book I think is like 24 hours long or something crazy. I was like, whoa, these are heckin' long. Okay, I guess that's a lot of bang for your buck there on the Audible credit, but I actually have 24 Audible credits that I need to like start moving through, because like I got a new set of 24 and then we decided to take a break from doing Ladies Who Genre. So now I'm like, and also just reading. So I have been on a break from reading for long enough that I'm like, oh, I guess, I mean, when you buy your books, you don't have to read them right away. So I can just buy a bunch of books if your credits can't roll over year to year is the problem here, in case I didn't make that clear. If you buy 24 credits, you have to use them in that year. So I have to buy 24 books in the next year, which is fine, because I will just own them until I consume them, like regular real life action books. Or all the Kindle books that I own that I have never read. It's like fabric. Where you have like a stash for a rainy day, but you don't ever actually really use that up. You just buy the newest thing when that thing comes out, and that's the thing that you want because it's the new shiny. And you forget about all the things that are in your stash. Ow, oh, poked, hi. Am I bleeding? Don't bleed on this, don't bleed on this. Alright, I think I have a good rhythm going. It's a little wobbly, but I don't hate it. I think I'm gonna go watch some Downton Abbey and work on this quietly, because, you know, talking does sort of affect my work. I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing and what I'm saying, which is not functionally possible for me. So yeah, I'm gonna go, I guess, zone out to some Downton Abbey and watch that and try to roll at least this one long hem. I'll show you the other one since this one is nailed down. So they're this long, which is 2 feet. So I'm just trying to go along one edge right now. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will come back and show you what I did when I'm all done. Okay, see you in a second. Okay, so we have a band and 2 ruffles. Each one of these ruffles will be put onto one section of the band, and then the band will be attached to the caul, which I've already shown you. So it's a little bit of a wonky rolled hem here. You can see some wonk, but it's my first one. These are my first ones, so I do not mind them. This is just a double folded hem. We are back in action for my cap. Did I say cap out loud just now, or did I just go cap? With no vocalness. Cool. Okay, so I'm doing the bottom of the caul right now, where there's going to be a tying off situation and a scrunching, gathering. Are you guys happy that I make videos where I share with the public my knowledge? I don't know what I'm doing. This is not sharing of knowledge. This is sharing of struggle learning is what's happening. Okay, so I have pinned this over 1/4 inch, and I'm going to, that's probably a little bit less than 1/4. And then I'm going to iron this down, baste it down, and then roll up another hem that will include some tape that I have that is going to be the gathering tape, and from both sides it will come out the middle, and then I can squish the bottom together up. Words, you guys understand what I mean. Okay, so I have it folded over once, as you can see, and then I folded it over again and ironed it because it's a little bit easier. And I've also taken a length for this side, and I've stitched it down of this tape, which is, I think, cotton tape from Burnley and Trowbridge. And I am going to then encase this in here and do this hem on this side, and then I will do the same thing over here and shove these out this little hole, and then I will be able to gather up the bottom of this caul. Interested parties might want to know that I am reading books again. This is not for Ladies Who Genre. I don't know when or if Ladies Who Genre will come back. We'll see. Morgan is not there yet. So I'm listening to Andy Weir's Hail Mary. It's a new book. This is the same person that did Artemis and also wrote The Martian. So far, this is very good. It's also space themed. Okay, we have it hemmed here, and they come out on the outside, so great. I think I might tie little knots in the end and move on. Okay, so now we have the band, and we have a ruffle. There are actually two of these. So what I'm going to do now is pleat this guy onto this curved edge. I'm going to use the flat edge here to pleat onto the curved edge of this guy so that it's fluffy. And I will do that twice, once with each one of these to make a big fluffy ruffle. Okay, we have one of them on. I don't even know, like the picture isn't this fussy. I am this fussy, so I'm I'm being fussy. In fact, the picture is significant, actually. It's a different ruffle. But it's still way less fussy than I'm being. So here's me being fussy. And then I'm whipping this on here. So that's what's going to happen for the next foreseeable future. Is me whipping it good. I have a ruffle. It has been ruffled. It is now ruffly. I also feel like one of those dinosaurs that's like, bah! So I like the ruffle. I think it's good. I'm excited about it. I'm gonna press it and then move on. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is gather the entire caul section, with the exception of just like a little bit on the ends, down to the flat section of this. So that is this entire deal needs to go basically in this much area. Okay, so that's fine. It's actually not that bad. And they suggest you do it with gathering threads. They want you to hand gather that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it by machine because my stitches are not even enough to hand gather by, in my opinion. And so I'm going to just use my machine to run 2 gathering threads real quick, and then I'm going to gather and pin this guy. Okay, we have it roughly gathered up and then pinned on, and then I'm basically going to create tiny gathers in between each pin and whip those. Like I'm gonna make stroked gathers essentially, I think, and then whip them onto this situation. So it's just a bunch of sewing, which I guess that is the point of this channel. New tagline. It's just a bunch of sewing. Okay, so I'm just gonna sit here and whip this on. My husband went to bed early, so I'm sitting, I normally like to hand sew in my bed because that's way more comfortable. But he's in there, so I'm gonna sit on this weird little stool and do this for a little while, but I'll probably finish it up tomorrow. Like, I can't conceive of this actually getting finished tonight, so we'll see. But hopefully this cap will be done tomorrow, and I will be excited. It is supposed to fit on that little wig thing, so I guess when I try it on, I have to put that wig thing on, and so that's going to be an adventure. But we should have a cap very shortly for you. Okay, I need better wig placement. Like, I should have my bangs down and bring them up over into this, but whatever. This is just for showsies. This is the cap. This is the cap. I don't know if you guys can see this, but hopefully you can. It has many ruffles. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm pretty pleased with it. It lets me put my hair in a bun. All good. So I just need to curl the front part of my bangs and put them into here, and then we have a look. So anyway, cap done. Cap done. How exciting. Okay, here's my little cap blob. It's here to show you that, I don't know if you guys are able to see it, but we'll see if we can zoom in on it. Do you see those blue lions? That's from the thread. Like the Gutermann silk thread bled lines onto this, which, like, it didn't get wet. I didn't even really, no, I didn't iron this at all. So I don't know why it would do that. I'm hoping like a soak might take that out at some point. Anyway, I am officially done with this project. I can put this video out. I was like, I'm gonna put videos out every week and I'm not gonna care how much I got done or not done. And then I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait till this project is done. And then it took like 3 weeks. How did that take 3 weeks? Like, literally it should have taken like, I mean, there's a lot of hand sewing in it, so like probably it actually took 2 days worth of work, not even like full days, just like as much hand sewing as I could do that day. Anyway, I procrastinated the crap out of it. I do have some interesting and good news, which is, but also terrifying news. I'm going to go to New York with a bunch of people that you guys are familiar with, and maybe some that you aren't familiar with, although you should be familiar with almost everyone that's going to be at these events slash in New York, because they've all been on my channel before. But yeah, I'm gonna go to New York with a few friends. We're gonna go look at the Medici paintings at the Met, which is very exciting, and then we'll have like a couple of outings and dinners and stuff. So I will have content for you on that. Like, I'll be vlogging from New York for sure. I'm pretty sure that there's like part of the situation is a big dinner we're all gonna have, so we're gonna like, I'll be filming from there. So yeah, New York should be super fun. I really don't have a ton of plans. If you guys have suggestions for stuff to do in New York, hit me up down below, let me know in the comments. I'm also dying to know what you guys are listening to and what you're reading and what you're watching. I just watched LuLaRich, which is a like documentary on LuLaRoe, which is an MLM slash cult situation. It's not nearly like if you want an expose documentary on like one of those things, you should watch the NXIVM ones. The one on Amazon is like, or is it Amazon or Showtime? I don't know. It's like 8 parts, and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot. The NXIVM one. The one on HBO is 4 parts, so if you have HBO, maybe that one's a little bit easier on you. But yeah, I watched that and it was really good. What else did I see that was really good recently? Oh, I know one that wasn't good. We watched Reminiscence, which is a Hugh Jackman movie. It's like even my jam. Like, it's kind of sci-fi and whatever, and it's got Hugh Jackman. Like, who doesn't want to look at Hugh Jackman for 2 hours? But I was like, oh my god, this is so inane. Anyway, I'm really sorry if you like this movie, but I was like, nope. I am loving this book though, that I'm reading, the Andy Weir book that I showed you guys earlier. Hail Mary. It's great. It's great. That's what I'm going to tell you. It's great. It's about a guy who wakes up. And he doesn't have any memories and stuff, but he does know stuff. He just doesn't have any memories yet. And you find out how he got where he is and what he's doing there, and then all kinds of insanity ensues. And it's, you know, the guy who wrote The Martian, so it's space stuff, so it's fun. But I am super enjoying that, which is great. What else? Oh, people have been asking me how I'm feeling, because I had like periods of not feeling very good this summer. Not very like happy or motivated and stuff. I'm much better than I was, and I can tell you, I think I know why. I was on a medication that was also causing me side stitches, and so I finally figured out like there was a correlation between all of these things happening at the same time, and I went off the medication. I have talked to my doctor about it. Everybody can not give me medical advice in the comments. I'm just giving you an update. Anyway, I've gone off of that medication and I feel significantly better. So yay. I think next I'm going to make an 18th century buttock. I need some rumpus. The flatness in the back is not doing it for my skirts. So I'm gonna make some rumpus for you guys for the next video, I think. And that should be a quick, simple tutorial sort of thing. It's good. It's a Janome video. So that will be good. Like, are there any other life updates I need to give you? Nope, I think that's it. I feel better. Medication is not happening. Going to New York. Little stressed out about the New York thing, not gonna lie. Like, you know how I am. I'm like, but I'm doing it anyway. Is that what we're saying? That's what I'm saying. I'm still nervous, so I'll be super careful. I went to Costco this weekend because my husband was like, let's go to Costco. We haven't been to Costco in 18 months. And so we went in there, and like halfway through it, I was like, Costco was at about 10% of Costco normal, and I was still like, nope, there's too many people here. So I felt weird, so I'm like, how's New York gonna go? Guess we're gonna find out. Anyway, so hopefully it'll be awesome. I'm gonna be with people I know. We're all vaccinated. In order to do anything fun in New York, you basically have to be vaccinated. You have to show your card everywhere you go. So that's definitely going to be a thing, and I'm very excited about it. Like, it will be cool to see some friends that I'm going to see friends that I've never actually met in person. And I'm sharing a hotel room with Gigi of my Costuming in Color co-host, and also Erica of Erica a la Mode. Some of you guys may have seen her on my channel. She's been on it at least 2 or 3 times. She's also been on Costuming in Color, and she's on Instagram. She's a cosplayer, and she lives down the road from me, and I adore her. She's awesome. So those are not going to be my roommates on there, but like a bunch of people are going, and it's going to be very fun. So yeah, I guess I will see you guys next time with another video, because I will just ramble on forever at this point. So let's not do that. And I hope you guys are having a great day, and leave me messages down below and let me know what's up with you. Okay, see you next time.